Hi everyone, my name is Vixx and I thought I'd have a go at doing some Elder Scrolls tutorials just because the game is new and I've been playing it and having a hell of a lot of fun. So for those of you that might have bought the game and wanted to try it out but are finding some of the systems a bit overwhelming, hopefully these videos can help you out. It might also give people an idea of what the game's like if they haven't yet bought it yet. Okay, so when you log in, this is your opening screen. My first video today will just look at some character creation and a little bit of the user interface, menu system, all that sort of thing. So we'll just jump into character creation. In Elder Scrolls Online, there are three opposing factions. You have the Daggerfall Covenant, the Aldmeri Dominion, and the Ebonheart Pact. Each has their own starting and questing areas, and then they all meet each other in a three-way PvP fight. The race you want to play does depend on the alliance you pick, unless you are like me and you pre-ordered the game, which unlocked being able to play any race in any alliance. If you've purchased the Imperial Edition, obviously you'll be able to play an Imperial. They are not restricted to either alliance. You don't get any difference in character abilities, that kind of thing, and the questing areas are pretty balanced. I mean, my preference is for the Ebonheart Pact. It reminds me of the Elder Scrolls game Morrowind, so I guess that's why I like that one. But other than personal preference, each faction is pretty well balanced. So yeah, pick whichever one suits the race you want to play, or if you have the pre-order version, pick whichever one you like questing in. So within the Daggerfall Covenant, we have Britons. I'm not going to go through each race's built, abilities and preferences. You'll be able to look them up. It's not just about physical appearance though. They all do have their own unique talent tree, which I will show later on. So it's important to research what talent tree each race has and see how that fits in with your playstyle. So Breton, Orc, and Redguard, they're the three Daggerfall races. We then have Aldmeri Dominion with High Elf, Wood Elf, and Khajiit. Kitty cats. We have the Ebonheart Pact, we have Argonian, Dark Elf, and Nord. A lot of you would be familiar with all of these races if you've played Skyrim or any of the previous Elder Scrolls versions. And then of course, as I said, if you've pre-ordered, you have Imperial. I will just quickly show you the male version of these as well, because you can be both male or female. Your sex does not alter anything within the game at all, apart from personal preference. How open-minded of them. Alright, so we'll just pick Aldmeri Dominion just for the sake of it, and let's go with a High Elf character. So the next thing you need to do when you're picking your character or creating your character is class. There are 4 classes in Elder Scrolls. Each class has a set of talent trees that you can skill into. They also have unique armor styles, which you can preview here with the Novice Gear, Veteran Gear preview. That's quite handy for character creation when you're basing it on looks. Also, back on the races, each race has its own style of crafting. So you would have noticed as I'm clicking through these, they all have very different types of armor. You can unlock these within your crafting by finding our, lore books within the game and researching those. So as a High Elf, you can research a Khajiit lore book and you'll be able to create their armor style. They are rather hard to find and a little pricey if you're trying to trade for them though, so something to keep in mind. Back to the classes, so we have Dragon Knight. These are generally your tanky type roles. Again though, Elder Scrolls has been designed to be open. You play however you want, whatever you want. So you can play a DPS Dragon Knight if you really want. You could perhaps play a Dragon Knight who uses a restoration staff, in which case you would be a healer. It is purely personal preference and how you feel you want to play the game and take on the challenges. So we have our, just click back, so we have our Dragon Knight. Sorcerer, this is your magic wielding class. I guess a typical sorcerer would be light armor with either a destruction or a restoration staff. Nightblade is your stealth based character, so assassin, striking from the shadows, that kind of class. And then Templar, which is your, I guess, healing or another tanky kind of DPS dealer as well, generally with plate. Their spells revolve around using light for damage. Now, as I said, it's very open. You can pick one of these 4 classes, but you can choose to skill up in any weapon set, and I'll get into that a little bit more later, and any armor set you want to. So just because you're a Templar doesn't mean you have to use a 2-handed weapon and you have to use plate. It really depends on what you want to do. Alright, so let's just pick a sorcerer, just actually we'll go Nightblade just for fun, and I'll just show you the veteran gear. High Elf Nightblade veteran gear looks rather cool, I think. Anyway, moving on. Now this is one of the very awesome things, and there are many, about Elder Scrolls. As you can see, I'm scrolling down the side there, and there are a hell of a lot of options to customize. I'm not going to individually show you what each one changes. Everyone, when you play, you can click through, but basically you can make your character as any appearance you want. You know, you can be a great tank of a thing, or you can be a wraith. You know, you can be tiny, be tall. The skin color choices, there's a lot of those. Just randomizing through, you know, there's a whole heap of body options and face options. There's tattoos. There's a lot of choices, so I'm not going to go through all of those because everyone can just have a play and fiddle around and make the sort of character that perhaps you would enjoy playing with. Facial expression or facial features as well is the same. You can make them as heroic looking, angular, soft. There's a whole list of voices, hairstyles, colors, you name it. You can make your cheekbones higher or lower. You can make your eyes a different color. You can make them large and small. It's your usual Elder Scrolls theme customization that I guess a lot of MMOs and other games really don't open up for a player. It's very rare to be running around the world and finding a character who looks exactly like you. They might have the same hair, but everything else will be different. Alright, and a character name. I'm a big fan of how Elder Scrolls has done the character system. You can have spaces, hyphens, apostrophes. I think that's it. Yes, spaces, hyphens, and apostrophes. So if I, for example, go Vixx, which is probably taken, let's face it, it's a pretty cool name to make. You're going to prove me wrong now. No, there we go. So that name is taken. But I can be Vixx, Ixie, I don't know, something random like that. You can throw spaces in, you can throw hyphens in, you can make the weirdest name you possibly want, which I guess anyone who's played an online game, there's nothing worse than having your personal favorite names taken. So this is pretty cool because you can just add a little variant to it and still feel like you've got your own name. So yeah, we'll just click create. Alrighty, now we've done character creation. Once you're into the game, you will have the option to play through a tutorial. It's a pretty good tutorial. It does throw you straight into the action and you can run around killing things, but it's also limited enough that you can't really go too wrong. Once you've played that through once on a single character, you can then skip it. I've jumped onto my current, I guess, main character, and I'm going to just show you the user interface and menu system. So obviously, like most games, settings, you can change your video, audio. I tend to turn on auto loot, and they've also got a consolidate loot, which means if you kill 3 or 4 mobs in the same area, you can loot one mob and it will collect all the loot from everything you've killed, which is handy. I prefer to hide a helmet just because I like looking how pretty my characters are, and once you've played through, it's nice to turn off the tutorials just because it gets a little annoying having the pop-ups come up all the time. Now, something I definitely change is I haven't actually changed a lot of key bindings. As you can see, you've got a lot of options to change them. Those of you with fancy keyboards and extra buttons will really love binding these left, right and center. The big one I do change as soon as I create a character is this roll dodge. So by default, to do a dodge roll, you have to double tap in the direction you want to dodge or roll, which can be a little cumbersome. Particularly in a busy fight. So I've found it says page up, but that's actually one of my mouse buttons, and it lets me just roll in the direction that I'm moving. I really suggest that one as well. And then the other one is to reply to whisper. By default, that isn't bound to anything, so I just have bound it to my / backslash. I always get those mixed up. Anyway, bound to that button. Other than that, add-ons, I haven't got any. I haven't really felt the need to install any, but maybe at a later date I'll come across some that I like. You've got your chat interface here, and you can create chat windows as you like. I'll talk about the guild systems and stuff like that later on. Alright, across the top you have your, I guess it's like a mini-map bar. If you've played Skyrim, you'll be familiar with this. So it shows me the compass, and whether I've got a quest in that direction, if there's some object of interest. Up on the top right, we have my current objective, which sort of just jogs your memory, I guess. You're sort of running around going, oh, what was I doing again? You just look up there. Alright, into the menu system. So first up, your inventory. This will look very similar to some of the Skyrim mod inventories. So you have your equipped gear over here on the left, and in your inventory you've got weaponry, apparel, consumables, materials for your crafting, miscellaneous odds and ends, in which usually your soul gems, lockpicks will go into. Quest items, I don't have any at the moment. I haven't actually seen anything go in junk yet, so I don't know what goes in there. So far everything seems to either go in miscellaneous or in one of the others. You can sort these by newest, by name, by price. When you loot a new item, it comes up with a little exclamation mark, which is pretty handy to sort of see what you've picked up. As you can see, my bags are very full. I've actually bought 10 extra bag slots, so you start off with 60. The next tab is your character tab. So here it tells you your name, your race and class. There's titles, which I haven't got one yet, they come from PvP. As you level up, you'll be able to put a point in each of magicka, health or stamina, the sort of core stats, and they feed into these more complicated stats. I'm not going to go into that. If you have a mount, it shows up here, and any active effects you have from ingredients or things that have happened around the world. Now skills, this is where it gets complicated. I'm just going to whiz straight past this for a second and come back to it. Your journal has your quests, a lore library for any books you've collected around the world, and something that everyone loves, achievements. So you can see how much you've explored, cleared, fished, etc. The more you go through the world, obviously, the more you get these, and it pops up on your screen and makes you feel like you've actually achieved something. It's rather nice. Your map. The map is pretty amazing. So you can zoom out and zoom in. You can see places you've been, quest objectives, and you can click on those to switch to the next quest. These are the way shrines that you can teleport to. That is the world map. So you have the 3 factions, each have their area, and then in the middle we have the PvP. Cyrodiil, little diamond thing, diamond triangle thing happening in there. Looks like Tasmania. So the map is pretty handy to be able to track where you are, where you're going, everything like that. It doesn't show that terrain particularly well, I find at times, so I'll think I can go through an area and then I find out that I'm stuck behind a mountain, but that could just be me being a little slow. It also lets you link that into your quests, like that, locations you can jump straight to. Alright, your group. Obviously I'm not in a group at the moment. When you are in a group for a dungeon or just for fun, your group members will show up here, and you can actually use this to, in my case, I can do this activity and I can join up. I want to join a regular group, and then I would click start search and it would put me in a party. Contacts, which I will skip through really fast just in case they don't particularly want me showing their names, and guilds. So you can have up to 5 guilds in Elder Scrolls Online. Generally you would want at least one large trading guild, because in this game system auctions happen within a guild, not within a global auction house. So that's my guild. You can look at the roster, all that sort of stuff. One of my guilds. The alliance stuff, I haven't actually started any PvP yet. I'll be doing that tomorrow, I hope. And this just shows you, yeah, the current PvP status, leaderboards, lots of information in there. Your mail system, this is where obviously friends can send you mail. Also any items you purchase or sell will come through here. Notifications, just for little pop-ups that need to get your attention. And the help system, which is actually pretty thorough. It's basically your game manual, and you also have bug reports and stuff in here, which sometimes don't load. But anyway, moving on from that. So that's, oh, there we go, see bug reports and stuff. So that's the menu system. And I guess the main thing is to not get too overwhelmed when you first log in and go, oh my god, there's so much to look at, that kind of thing. Everything does have tooltips, so it's pretty easy to get used to the system. Alright, so skills. Most games, I guess, with a talent tree or a skill-based system will have, you know, your skills will depend on the class you pick, and that's about as far as it goes. In Elder Scrolls, you have talent trees for your class, your weapon, your armor. There's world talent trees, guild related, as in not your community guilds, but quest lines, I guess. Racial, and there's also a talent tree for each of the crafting. I'll go through crafting in another video later on, so we'll leave that for now. In terms of classes, this is a sorcerer, so you have dark magic, daedric summoning, and storm calling. I've actually gone for a daedric summoning sorcerer as my main character, and for weapon, my primary weapon, I've gone for a bow. So I summon a helper, and then I shoot the enemies with lots of arrows. That's the sort of gameplay that I've chosen. Each weapon type has its own talent tree, so when you pick a character, you will want to, for the start at least, to really focus on just one theme. So in this case, it's going to be bow for me. Same with class. I mean, you can mix and match. You can put points into all three of these as you go. The problem is as you get further along, you might find that you've spread yourself a little too thin. Again, it is pretty open though. There's no, well, not that I've seen, perfect way to build a character. I'm sure it will happen. People will, theory craft it out. But I have a very strong personal preference to just playing whatever feels right to you. As long as you're not dying constantly, then that's fine. So just open it up, have a look at the systems and see what you feel like playing. At level 15, you'll see on the inventory thing, you can actually get a backup weapon set. So you can switch weapons in combat. That'd be the point where perhaps you would start to skill into a secondary talent tree just to unlock those abilities there. Armor, light, medium and heavy. Any class can wear any of these. Your proficiency in them obviously depends how effective they are. So I actually started this character out wearing light armor and I decided it didn't really work out for me. So about a level ago, I switched to medium armor. Luckily, I hadn't spent any skill points within this talent tree yet, so that's not a big deal. The guild talent trees have some really cool little abilities and passive abilities that you can read up on. Racial. Now this is where I was talking about read up on the race you're going to pick based on the class you want to play. It's not essential, but it does help. So in this case, I went for a wood elf because they have archery experience gain, and at early levels, playing a sorcerer with a bow, that was pretty handy to have. And they've also got really good bonuses to stamina. So just have a read up. I'll link in my web blog some links through so you can read up on the different racial skills. There's a really good talent calculator over on ESO Head that will let you just sit there clicking and putting talents in or skill points in left, right and center until you've found something you like. But don't be afraid to level something up. So if you start on a bow and you level it up for a bit and you find out that that's not working out for you, you can swap. So I can level up any of these weapons. Sure, you might have wasted some skill points, but later on in the game you'll be able to pay to have them swapped around anyway. There are a lot of skill points. You get them for leveling up, you get them for collecting sky shards, and some quests hand out skill points just for completing a quest. So there's lots to go around. Try and be clever about it, but don't restrict yourself so much that you're not enjoying the game. Just try things out and see how it works out. Alright, so that's basically an intro to the game. I know it probably looks a little complicated, but I'm finding it a very clean UI. I mean, when you exit it out and you're running around the world, the only thing you're dealing with is your chat, your objective, and that's it. Once you're in combat, your action bars will pop up. Obviously, I can't get into combat because I'm in a city, and then you can carry on fighting. It's a really nice way, very unobtrusive way to have the game. Right, well, that's it for my very first tutorial. I hope it was helpful and I didn't talk too fast or blather on too much. Keep in mind this is my first video as well, so lots of feedback in the comments please. Let me know if there's something about Elder Scrolls Online that you particularly would like me to explore. I will be tackling the crafting system in my next video, so hopefully that will clear some questions up for people if they have them. And thanks for tuning in.
Is it true they summoned ball